Okay, thank you all for coming. The conversation here is with Ernesto Neto, artist with whom I've been working for at least 20 years, following the work at least since the late 80s. And the opportunity here for this conversation is actually a break between the installation that we're doing of Ernesto Neto's, we wouldn't say retrospective at this point, but definitely a large service show that we're installing in Marco in Monterrey, the Museu de Arte Contemporânea in Monterrey, opening next Thursday there. And we took these couple of days, we're quite advanced in the installation, so we took these couple of days to come here and do this conversation. The exhibition runs through March. It includes works since 1987 and all the way up to very recent works. It's an exhibition that comprises 120 works, from the large-scale sculptures to drawings and small sculptures, all in very sort of a quite wide range of works. We've been working on this for 2 years, Ernesto Neto and myself. This is maybe a number of other collaborations that have unfolded in this.
1 year, no, 1 year.
1 year, yeah, I've been talking to them for 2, but I'm with you for 1 year, and we're also launching a publication next week. Ernesto has been involved also in a large-scale project in Buenos Aires at the Faena Art Center, where he focused quite, a lot of work in that. And he often jokes, or seriously, he says that this is my exhibition more than his own.
Yeah, this is the exhibition of Adriano Pedrosa. It's Adriano Pedrosa looking Ernesto Neto. In fact, it's a reality, it's not a joke, because I was busy with some other things. But 1 year ago, we went to, I never did something like that in my life, so it's very interesting. It's been a very amazing experience. Looks like a time machine, something like time capsule, I don't know how to say. But a year ago, we went to this place, we saw the museum, we got the plan, and we went to the hotel after lunch, blah, blah, and we begin to work on that. Oh, let's put this piece here, maybe this one here, blah, blah, blah. And then it moved on. And then from this first conversation and some other conversation, the exhibition began to grow, I say that it's Adriano exhibition because I was involved with some other things. And it's a little bit tedious. Understand tedious, I guess? Entediante?
Boring.
A little bit boring to keep thinking about the work that I'm gonna put, these old works, blah, blah, blah. And I was involved with this big, crazy piece in Argentina. So I keep saying that was Adriano exhibition. He's also doing and organizing this book. So of course he have talked with me many times. I have gone there many times. But he is driving the boat. I'm just there in the back. Just enjoying.
I'm doing the boring work.
To the exhibition, but I sometimes move this way, maybe. So in between discussing which direction, how should we go, we arrive in this situation that now we're installing this piece, and we just came yesterday here. And for me, it's been amazing because now it's becoming to be my show also. Since I went there and I began to install and I begin to really deal with the things that import to me, that is the works in itself. And I have to say thank you to Adriano because, sincerely, I was thinking that everything was very boring, to be honest, to have to do. But now it's pretty cool to see all these pieces there. It's almost done, the exhibition. And yesterday, I just finished a room that from some sculptures, named from the system, ABA system, which is a kind of some very previous sculpture, very old sculptures. You have a flat iron like this, a string, and another flat iron here. Some of them, before of this one with the string, was with textile, black textile.
These are pieces from 87, 86.
87,
yeah.
And these pieces, so it's many rooms now. There's a big exhibition, and there is one room that we have these pieces there. So, the feeling I had yesterday or the day before yesterday is that I was waiting for 23 years. I had been waiting to make that exhibition. And finally, I'm having that exhibition that I should have done like 23 years ago. But 23 years ago, there was no the space. It didn't happen like that, you know. So I think this is the most amazing thing for me. There's some other works, for example, that you know, you might know my work, but there is this fine-tuning, this kind of equilibrium, balanced situation, that how to put the things together in a situation, let's say, almost alive or not, at whatever, something like that. But what happened to me that some works, I didn't know how to do it. You know, even though I know, no, you just do like this, just pick this, put together, and it's gonna stay up. But things didn't stay up. It took a long time for me to begin to understand that. And then I began to understand that in this time, we changed the way we think. Yeah. It may look like obvious, but I didn't know that my way of thinking had changed in certain circumstances, that some solutions or some solutions, yeah, some solution or some decisions that I would take today is different than the ones that I would take before. And sometimes some works I try to install with the decisions that I would take today. It didn't work out, you know. In fact, the decisions that I took before was much better than the ones that I normally would do today for that work of before. I don't know.
The piece ABA is it's a group of pieces from 1987, the pieces that have never actually been exhibited. The first Ernesto Neto solo show, maybe they have been, I've seen them in collectors' houses, one or two.
Yeah, no, I had exhibited like
in group shows.
3 of these pieces somewhere in a group show or something else in another group show, but never all together. Besides that piece, there is the Barra Bola, né?
Yeah.
I think we would talk about that.
Just to contextualize a little bit, ABA then is the first time that's actually being presented in a room of its own, no? We have another, the first solo show is Bar Ball, which you want to talk about. This also is recreated there. In
fact, when I did that exhibition of the Bar Ball, I was supposed to have part of the ABA together, just part. But it just didn't work out both. So that's why I made the Bar Ball. And now we have this kind of edit situation of the Bar Ball, in which it was very interesting to see. I know, you know, it's my work, so of course I like it. But anyway, for me it was okay.
And also 89 is another important show, solo show, the Copulonia, which has been, some might have seen at Inhotim. It's an important second solo show. And then we move on to the Tânia Bonacda exhibition, also from '97 in New York. That's also recreated. Yeah.
Puff, puff, puff.
And that's the first room. What we have brought also, I think, quite exceptionally, I mean, I should say that Ernesto Neto, the reason why he might be bored with this process at the beginning is because he is often invited to create new work, and it's often a quite engaging, sort of long-term process of putting together these very increasingly large-scale, complex installations, like the one in Buenos Aires, like the one in New York that some might have seen, like the one in London and in Paris, for example. So this is a different instance where we're gathering many works from different periods. There are, of course, many recreations and a couple, maybe just 2 or 3 actual new works, like drawings and some small sculptures. But I think what's also new about this exhibition is that it's for the first time we are seeing so many, such a large group of drawings. I went through the archive of Neto's, of Neto's drawings, going through over 400 drawings, and we selected 85 drawings which are dispersed throughout the exhibition. That's also
just my drawings, not there's no any drawing that was alone for a drawing.
No. All of them are coming from your archive, and I believe perhaps only 1 or 2 have been seen before, no?
He loved the drawings, you know. He loved, oh, this is fantastic. There's some ones that I really took care. There's many that, oh, this is fantastic, but this is exactly the ones that I didn't choose to let the galleries take or something like that. So technically we would be the worst ones. But it's cool to see that. But so it's very great to have Adriano go into my studio and making all of this, because that's why I say that is an exhibition of Adriano, because he went there, he talked with me, he talked with my assistant, he saw all these drawings. I was not there, you know. But one thing is interesting for me also, because for me to make a work, there is kind of there's many other things, but there is 2 things. One thing, you think about the work, no? You think, I'm gonna do, the work begin to come, I'm sleeping and the hammock, whatever. You think about that. And another part that you make it, because I really like to make my works, you know, like on my studio. And the third part that you put it up. No? And I love to put it up at the thing. So that's why the exhibition just begin to me when I begin to put up, when I begin to make it. So that's when I begin to have this pleasure of remaking this piece. So, and when you are doing that, of course, you got to think, oh, this piece is going to be cool beside that, blah, blah. It's nice to think about that. But it's not the same thing that when you're thinking about something that doesn't exist and you want to create, you know. I mean, for him, for you, Curator, I don't know, because...
Well, I'm not making them, so...
The feeling that I have is that he is, I am... like
I can only select and install.
But normally you are doing the thing through me, in a way. I mean, I pick up this and I make something that. You pick up the art, all this, and doing, I don't know, this. You know, another thing that I was thinking is that is a question of, you know that the gravity is an energy very strong, it's a weak force. It's not very strong, but it goes very, very far away. And that is for force, for energy. I don't know how to call it in English. Power, whatever. The weak, the strong, the electromagnetic, and the gravity. The weak and the strong, they are much stronger than the electromagnetic and the gravity. But you gotta be close. If you are far away, the field is very short, very small field. So the feeling I had is that I get involved with the thing when I get close to the thing, you know. When I am far away to the thing, I don't, it's not the same thing, you understand? Analyzing, thinking, I mean, when I'm thinking about the work that I'm gonna do, yes, but thinking about it, that's why this part is, okay.
So fortunately then for this exhibition, we were able to make several exhibition copies. Then you were like actively, even ABA,
yes.
The whole process of putting together the ABA sculptures from '87 with new metal, new fabric. Neto was in the sewing machine in the gallery, which is a...
Yeah, this is another thing that we have done some exhibitions copy because, you know, my work is so fragile. And then the museums ask, oh no, I learned that if you make an exhibition copy. Oh, we made an exhibition copy. Looks like easy, né? Just make it. We have done that. But then again, we have this situation, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you think in a different way than how you think today. You have to take decisions that you don't know why you took that decision in that time. So it's like if you have to, you know, this macumba, you got the scent get inside of you. I mean, I don't know how to do it. But it's like that you have to get inside of you through yourself in another time to this time, you know, who I was and why I would take this or that decision. And some of them was complicated to do because I didn't know how to take the decision or how, same thing, getting old, gray hair, you know, that's kind of, you got my gray hair, more gray hair than I do. Man.
But yours is curly and more abundant. But you were also telling me, for example, that these, the group of drawings that we installed next to the Tânia Bonagda show, the '97 Tânia Bonagda show.
It's a new piece made by me and Adriano, a collaboration. Because
selected and framed by me.
Yeah, because we discussed if we're gonna put like that, and then he put and he said to me, because it's a lot of dots. It's this works that I did in '92 that I put water in the paper and let a drop of ink fall down, and it begin to expand, explode and expand. And there is many of these. There was some. How many is like 10, 8,
9.
9 of it. So he wanted to put in a line, and he said to me, "Oh, I'm gonna put in a line. I'm gonna divide it by the middle." You know, remember how you said that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tell them, I don't know.
With the height.
Oh, the height would be decided by the middle, but they don't have the same size, the frame. So, and also when you put all the balls together, they stay like that. In fact, I did some piece that after this is single drops, but I did some piece like that was like that, in long paper. And in fact, we are repeating in another situation, maybe in this kind of thing, curatorial sculpture, because it's because when you put by the middle, it becomes also some of them higher, some of them lower because of the difference of the side. So we have this situation of the ball, and also we have this situation of the frame. looks like silly, but this a small difference between the frame, but it gives a vibration that you have a feeling that the thing is moving, you know. So it's a pretty nice piece that, you know, we need to invent something. I mean, I think the good thing of being an artist, the good thing to be alive, you know, but you're having a problem. You are bored, there's nothing to do, or in a bad situation, and suddenly you begin to look at some shadow, you begin to look at some relationship, and you begin to find some poetry on the things, you know. It's full of poetry everywhere, if your eyes are open to that. So living on this, making this poetry, enjoying, inventing that, this is what is interesting for me, you know. So in this situation, for example, which is this drawing, it's an example. When you begin to build the exhibition, you're just choosing how to put, but you begin to find some poetics inside of the idea of how to show the thing. Now, because I think music, you know, music for me, you know, I like to sing. You know, I don't know if you guys like, but when I sing, I have a feeling that singing is like carrying the music. You carry like this, you carry like that, like how to carry the music. And in certain way, how to show a work, even how to make a work, it's something like that. It's how to hold something, how to bring something to life, how to. So I think this exhibition for me, which is had never happened. I mean, I did an exhibition in Oslo last year. Oslo. That I mean, I chose the place for everything, but my assistants went there and they installed everything. I arrived, everything was done.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was fantastic, man. Best. Yeah, because normally I am in a big problem, you know, have to put this here solution. Many of my works are being, the solution is made on the field. I like that. I like the tension in the piece. I like the tension that maybe everything's going to fall down, it's going to be a problem, you know. And sometimes we always have big problems. So maybe some people don't know, but people who are in the backstage, they know. But yeah.
The astro-friendly Oslo.
Oh yeah, Oslo. Yeah. But Oslo are like big works, you know. I mean, some rooms, big works, not like this thing from '87, not these babies like ABA Barbol, who put me in the field, you know. It's really cool to, thank you to.
Thank you, Ernesto Neto.
To let me, convince me to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because as you're saying, what I think the exhibition articulates is this navigation between the micro and the macro, no? From the small drawings, the small sculptures, the babies, as you call them. Even there's a couple of pieces called Baby at the corner, and
baby, I love the babies.
Yeah, the very small, delicate pieces juxtaposed with the very large ones as well.
You know that people say that babies, baby dog and baby everything, they are very cute. You know? Everybody, oh man, it is because it is so hardcore to take care of them. And they make such a mess in our life that the nature had made them cute. For us, can't stand them. That's what I heard, you know. So I think, but babies also, when the baby begin to grow, they have this situation. They are like, what is the world? What's like that? It's a kind of looks like the feeling that I had when I see a child like he begin to stand up. You know, it's like that they are immersed. You know, immersed, like in the water. You know, something like that. Everything has a density. You know. Because in the end of the day, we are all immersed now, all the time. Now we are. There's the air here. You know, let's not go in this direction because then there's going to be another talk.
I often say that the exhibition and the book that we're doing is also a work in progress because it's also an unfolding of a conversation that we've had many years. But also a learning process. At least for me, I'm seeing many pieces for the first time. I'm definitely seeing many pieces being installed and put together for the first time. So I want to ask you if, and still we're in the middle of this process. The process will only be concluded next week. But for me, is a very strong, rich learning process. Have you so far had that experience as well? Have you learned from seeing some of these works?
Yeah, all the time. That's everything I'm talking here is about that. You keep learning because
certain themes or
Be alive is be learning. Now we are learning all the time. It's like here, but in a situation like that, is the strong input because. What do you want to ask?
We saw a relationship, certain relationship between certain works. For example, I saw a relationship between the bar ball and the Pif Paf, for example, that I hadn't seen. When you have one room juxtaposed to the other, that type of connection that we see in drawings. And do you see any motifs or any themes that are running throughout the work? Certain connections that you're maybe seeing, because this is also part of the idea of the retrospective and looking back at so many works over a wide range of.
I work almost all the time with the same thing, I just kind of twisting the same. I don't know. The idea, my idea was to have something floating, a body floating in the sky, fall on the ground. Look, where is the tension? Now, where is the tension? Where is the kind of energy potential of things? I don't see. They are all related. All the works they are. It's all the same story, I guess. It's no.
I remember a conversation that we had, actually an interview that we published 10 years ago. In the Camargo Villas catalog, where we started this conversation asking if we were going to talk about either sex, science, or art.
I prefer to talk about life. I think everything is around it. What's nature? Nature is the thing, because we live in this society of culture. We address these things, all these objects. But we are nature. It's not we and the nature. We are the nature. We are also the nature. Of course, there is something wrong with us. That's because we are nature, but we produce objects. And sometimes the culture is becoming our nature. It's so strong, the position of the culture in a society that we live. But I still think that I was thinking about some things, yesterday I was thinking about some things when I talked today. I don't remember anymore. It was about that. You can trust on the body. The body don't lie. The body don't lie. The mind lies all the time. We are always lying. We are always trapping ourselves and trapping the other and trying to. I saw that movie Inside Job, yesterday, about the money, all this immaterial money world. Okay, money is important, of course, no doubt. But there is something, the body don't lie. We are in this planet. I think about this planet, in a certain way. I think about the emotion that we have of being alive, the impact of this boom arriving in the ground, this existential weight, and we are nature.
Well, perhaps last question before we open up to the audience, if you have any questions. The classical question, the classical sort of question that comes up in talking about many Brazilian contemporary artists, the relationship with that you particularly have with a certain carioca tradition of art, the neoconcretismo, and the relationship between geometry and the body and life and everyday. Would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, it's like my family, it's like my family is not just the Brazilians. There's other artists, international too, who have been very important to me, which I feel that's like my family, human family. In the end of the day, we are from the same family, but far away. But there is this familiarity about the type of work, the type of way of seeing things, and these guys from Neoconcrete, they have been so important for me. because until nowadays you have a lot of information for everywhere, but in my time we didn't have so much information. I'm afraid about so much information, I myself, I try to avoid too much information because you get dizzy, it's a labyrinth of things going on, and I prefer to concentrate where that I keep going. But what I feel about this family is that this thing you have to fight with your father, you have to contest your father, you have to kill your father, no?
Yeah, you have to kill your
father,
father, as we were saying.
I like my father, he's already dead. I would love to have a beer with him. I never would like to kill him, but I understand that I had big problems with him when I was a teenager, 20, so especially when I began to make art, these things. But, so I think there is tradition and rupture. I'm not so sure about the idea of revolution. I'm confused about it because we are living in a revolution. There is a revolution going on that we are not understanding. I begin to think about the postmodernism in a very different way, because I think this revolution is going on without speak, the left wing is always like that. We have to destroy that. Let's change everything. Let's move everything. But there is another people who will make a silent revolution. And this is the revolution that is moving on. We have this telephone here. Everybody does have more. Now, a lot of people have the fucking same telephone. And it's amazing. It can do a lot of things. But, I don't know, 15 years ago, I lived without a telephone. And it was a wonderful life, And now, if we don't have a telephone, it looks like a nightmare. And this is a situation. It's a situation. Enjoy now. I'm enjoying very much. But I'm a little bit scary about this fact that we don't have time anymore. It's like the electrodomestic was invented, so we have a washing machine. Now we're gonna have time because we're not gonna need to wash the clothes. So we have time. And who has time today? Time is becoming something so. But our dealing with time is becoming different too. It's very interesting. This situation of these sculptures have this situation because they have different time on their spirit, from the beginning to the end, I think. Because we are all changing now. We are being shaped by the society all the time. It's not like you shaped by your parents. Your parents shape you and then it's still shaping, it's still changing. And this is interesting to be alive. But there is a revolution that is going on. A silent, that's it now, human being, microphones. It's nice. Boom. So let's let them.
Any questions from the audience?
Okay. Hi, my name is Mika, and I was just wondering, because some of your works, they are of quite ephemeral materials, how do you see them conserved by the museums or galleries? Like I know, for example, for Heliotisicus parangolis, Tate has recreated them so that people can touch them, but the originals they keep in storage. So how do you see your works preserved and used in the future?
Big problem because...
but there's a solution.
Yeah. There is a solution, but there is a situation. For example, when I did this, because there is two types of work. There is the ones that you can interact, and the one that you don't interact. The one that you interact is very much more complicated, even because people get crazy when they are in the thing. There is a old piece from 98. Navedenga, that was shown in the museum, and they, Ernesto, how's that? I say, it's a little bit like that. So 2 days I was waiting for the phone call, because they don't understand sometimes that people is gonna really get crazy because this, for example, long time ago, people didn't touch the things naturally. Nowadays they want to devour it. Devour it, to swallow everything, and this relation with the object is very complicated on my work. Then to take care of it becomes more complicated. The fact is We have this exhibition copy. We have the material. As far as we have the material, we can remake it. It's technically very easy to remake most of my works, or these ones that are very fragile at least. But if they stop producing the material, then it's going to be complicated, you know. So there is this kind of situation of the conservation. You got to take care. You got to take care. That's it. Well, if you could take care, it survive.
The Hirschhorn piece, the Hirschhorn Museum piece that we're installing now, after 10 years, it was remade by the plans that the museum sent, and we filmed the entire installation of the piece, which takes a few days, in order for the people at the museum to have some instructions when they put this up next time. But in the case of the Pifi Pafi, for example, is a particular case where the fabric is no longer made, so it's actually slightly different, no?
But we can make it. It's just it's just this company.
The halo of the imprint is not exactly.
No, but this is fine. This is stocking. They make stockings all the time. It's just the guy used a wrong thread to do it.
Oh,
this is not a problem, because it's stocking. They're gonna make it for a very long time. People are gonna keep doing stocking. The problem is more when you have a kind of fabric, flat fabric. On this case of these works, but the works I'm doing now is a crochet works, which is another world and another problem. So it's always a problem. For my work, always a problem. But, you know, that's the way to show what they show. We need to deal with delicateness, you know. And it thinks about this delicateness of the world, you know. There is a delicateness, you know. There is a delicacy, delicateness, wherever. On the world, that it's part of it to take care of the world, you know, take care what our baby, take care of the planet we live. So it's pretty much about that. So it should be like that. It cannot be different. So we have to deal with that.
We have another question over here.
Yeah, hi, Gabriela Juraj. Going one step further, for you, does art have to be material, or can it be something that's just an idea and that never actually gets into this possibility of being devoured, or, you know, into this material form?
Yeah, it can be absolutely material. I mean, in my head, it's immaterial when it begins. You know, then I make that and something turns to materiality. But I think it can be anything, you know, as far as the person who are doing believe in what they are doing, you know. But I think the body don't lie, because immaterially there is a lot of, you know, I mean, not just, a lot of great stuff, but the materiality, the human being is a little bit smart, too smart. We are too smart. We think we are smart. Yeah, we think. But I think it can be invisible. Yeah. I think art is what happens in between us and the planet, you know, or the people, whatever. Planet, I mean everything, culture, whatever. And that's in between is immaterial. There is something magic. For me, there is, no doubt. I mean, these people are God, all these things. I don't know, but there is something that we don't know how to explain. It's annoying, this light here. It's really, there's really something. So maybe you can make art with this material. A lot of people, they believe that conceptual art is a kind of immaterial thing. But normally there is the object to take you to this direction. I don't know. But the essence, where it comes from, is from immateriality. But sometimes the materiality shows this immateriality, because it's this thing in between us and the planet. But how you make it depends on the artist.
There's another question over here.
Hi, my name is Elise. I have kind of a practical question for you. I'm a graduate student. I work with textile-based sculptures, and I was curious how you find and choose the materials that you work with.
They find me.
They find you?
Yeah, it's like that. Everything in my life is like that. People who work in my studio, I never look for them. They always arrive at. It's something like that. For example, I'm doing these sculptures, this big work that he said in Argentina, which are made by crochet. And this crochet these strings that we use to do this to crochet comes from a shop. That is a shop here that has an entrance like this size, maybe a little bit bigger. Has no sign there. There's a lot of ropes and strings and threads. And I know this shop since 20 years. And we begin to do this work with crochet. We went there to pick up the colors, begin to pick up all the colors. Then the guy told that he could mix 2 threads. They produce these cords. So we begin to have a huge possibilities in color of it because the guys are there and they produce that. And beyond that, we work like here. You know, we're not so westernized, let's say, Euclidean mind. I don't know, I am not. And if there was not this shop very near to my studio, kind of close, maybe it could be a little bit far away, but if it was not like that, I wouldn't be able to make a piece like that. You understand? So it's part of my nature, or it's part of my culture. The nature that surrounds me or the culture that surrounds me. Now that's the point. That depends on the mind of each one of you. You choose. Okay. For me, the culture and nature is almost the same thing. You know, it's kind of, and I think it's more we try to understand them attached to each other. It's better situation for, at least for me. I think it's good be good. But anyway, so that's how it happens. You know, it happens. That is, I have thought about many works. That in these 23 years, as far we are doing this retrospective, we're talking about the fact that I'm getting old, gray hair, blah, blah, blah. Many works that I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do. Maybe I could make a phone call and found a producer and how to do that, but I don't know. I didn't know how to do it. So there is this kind of things. The things should happen. You know, the idea of that things happen is a very, very, very important for me.
We have one last question then. Our Swiss organizer is already indicating that we're almost running out of time.
My name is Sandra, and I just wanted to ask you about the use of smell in your work and spice. And I wanted to know about your decisions when you're deciding which spices and which scents and what they mean to you and where that all comes from, and if you can just explain a little bit like how you come to decide what particular scent is going to work for your piece.
You know, when I did the spice piece, I was walking on the street. I was walking. A friend of mine wants to buy something kind of food. I took her to a kind of Arabian shop which has a lot of spices and seeds. I always love to see the seeds on the bags. You know, I mean, I work with bags. My work is something like this. You know, it's like a glass with water. No? But it's a continent and a continent inside. It's a glass is very much, you know, I love this situation. You know, you carry something and you swallow this thing. And then I just got in there, you know. I arrived in the place. I had been in this place like 20 times. I don't know. But in that moment, I got hypnotized by the smell and hypnotized by the color. Like, I don't know. It just happened like that. Of course, then we can think the smell has many ways to use the smell. It creates a sculpture is a field. Now you have this on the space, something like that, and then you have the smell. The smell amplifies this space, this kind of the immateriality of the body in certain way. You can say the immateriality, but it's material now because we smell because there is something in the air. But it creates a field around. Also, there is this thing of the memory. And I think it's a strong emotion that creates on you. It gets inside of you, you know, beyond. I like to work before mind, you know. I mean, something that would, if you have a retina, when the light comes, the image comes and hits our retina in the back, right? Or the back of the eye, I don't know, think the retina, whatever, this thing that crosses. We study that. So before hitting that, well, before hitting the mind, there is this emotion moment, this emotion point. And I think the smell is something that is strong work on it. this moment of my life was a moment of many tension, you know, and so there is high density of, just a moment, it's better for me because of the light, high density of matter, you know, on this piece, this first piece. Also, there is this situation that you have the skin, and this smells mostly is made by powder, so it crosses the skin. My work is very much about the skin, as the skin representation of ourselves, in between, outside, inside, all these things. So when you cross the skin with the spice getting out, so we have this visual cross, and with the smell we have a sensorial, almost invisible crossing over. Beyond that, when I got this first piece of smell, I think I got this curcuma, you know, the turmeric, very yellow, and the smell begins to get uncomfortable in my studio. I didn't even live in the studio, but it was uncomfortable to stay there. So I got other spices, and when I begin to have other kind of spice, I begin to realize that there was an environment of spice, and this was very comfortable to live with, because there was not a monotony of a smell, you know. The smell goes this way, goes that way, the wind comes and mixes them in different ways. So then I begin to work with them in this situation. The main ones that I like to work is the clove and the curcuma. There's other words too, pepper, whatever, you know, cumin, blah, 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 many. But if you think about these two ones, it's good because if you think about the turmeric, it's yellow, very bright, but the smell is very low, you know, like, boh. I have a feeling like that. And if you think about the clove, the smell is, the color is not bright at all. It's a boring color. It's kind of brown, hidden, you know. But the smell is very strong, very dribble, you know, very thin. Ding. So I like it to modulate on this, very musical, because this piece, the first piece, poof, puff, puff, piff. Not just because of that, because other things too, chromosomic poofish that I found in the magazine, blah, blah, whatever. Not the time, but there is this situation of the modulation of the smell in the ambience. That's what I try to do. Not always I do it well, but sometimes it's better than other times.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ernesto. I want to call attention to the fact that we have some catalogs of Ernesto Neto over here available. It's not the catalogs that we're putting together, but I see the Haywood catalog there, if available for sale. Thank you.
Thank you very much.